Good morning, my people. We have a hell of a show for you. So much going on. I don't even know if we're going to be able to get to it all. So let's get right at it, man. Let's hit it. Grab your coffee, fill your cups up. I'm about to run and go grab my cup while this runs. Grab your pen and paper for the round table at the end of the show. We're going to do a round table. It's going to be a good show, folks. Let's do this. Good morning, folks. How are you doing this fine day? We have much to talk about, so we're going to blaze through a couple of it that, we've got to talk about it because it's happening, but we don't really want to talk about it. So let's do it quickly, shall we? First of all, we've got Mango Mussolini, or as I like to call him, the orange asshole. Yeah, that's right. We're going to have cussing in today's show. It's not going to be, we're not going to be able to monetize this one, but that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes you just have to say it the way it is. Mango Mussolini had to give a speech in court because, he can't just keep his mouth shut and let his lawyers do his job. Oh, my God, dude. I am so sick of this SOB. I really am. This frickin', yeah, thank you. Thank you. Where are you? Loser J. Trump. There you go, William Allen. That's what I am talking about. That's the comments I'm looking for. Loser J. Trump. This guy sits in court. The judge told him, you got to talk about the case. You got to talk about the facts of the case. And don't, no rambling, yada, yada, yada. This is a court of law. Talk about the case. I'm completely innocent. No, you're not. You were found guilty. There was a summary judgment issued against you immediately. That's not what this part of the trial is about. Jesus Christ. This part of the trial was for the judge to be able to take a look at the extent of your crimes, not whether you committed crimes. That's already been decided. But I'm innocent. Everyone should pay me money because, I'm inconvenienced here. People should pay me money. Letitia James should pay me money. The judge should pay me. The judge should pay me money. That judge in this case is an asshole. Oh, what? This is the judge? Oh. Sorry, Judge. I didn't mean to call you an asshole. But the judge in this case is an asshole. Just freaking pathetic. I mean, pathetic. The judge let him whine for 6 minutes before he finally said, Mr. Keiss, talking about Chris Keiss, his actual attorney, can you get your client under control, please? I mean, how pathetic. And then he turned around and gives the same speech 2 more times. Stepped outside, remember Alina Habba saying, oh, those prosecutors, they're narcissistic. All they want to do is, yeah, I know I'm talking about Alina Habba and I'm still doing Trump and Trump hands. But Alina Habba goes out, oh, those prosecutors are narcissistic. All they want to do is talk to the press. You know what? This jackass has done 3-a-day press conferences with the press outside this court here. That's the only reason he's there. He's got no business at this trial. He's the defendant, but he's nothing. He's offering nothing. He's doing nothing. He's already been found guilty. This aspect of the trial, plain and simple, was just to determine the extent of his crimes and how far the judge has to go. And let me tell you, folks, I don't bullshit you. I always tell you the way it is. I always tell you the way it is and what I think is going to happen. And I'm often right. It's not going to be a $375 million judgment. I don't believe that. I don't. They showed damages, but I don't think they showed $1/3 billion in damages. I think it's going to be more along the lines of 100 million south, somewhere around there. But it's going to lead to the dissolution of Trump Co. They're going to lose their ability to attain business licenses in the state. Letitia James is closing. Tied the kids in, the adult kids. We call them the kids. They're not freaking kids. They're in their 40s. They have gray freaking hair. These are not children. She tied dummy junior cokehead freak and the moron, gummy moron, the gummy moron tied them into the case so that they're going to lose their business licenses also, which is great. Which is what should happen. When you're a crook, you should lose your ability to do business. But what does it mean? That's what we're here to talk about. What does it mean? Well, it's pretty damn simple. Trump is going to have a lot of problems defending himself because his business is going to be in the hands of conservative that is going to be dissolving it. 2, this is going to lead to another set of fraud charges. When they go to dissolve the business, they're going to see all of the crap that Trump has been doing after he was told not to do anything with his business because they're going to have to dissolve it. Trump does not believe laws apply to him. Trump does not believe that rules apply to him. So the second that happened, Trump, I know, everybody knows. Nobody has seen it yet. Nobody has seen the evidence of it yet. But you know the way this man thinks. He is not going to allow the rules and laws to apply to him. To him, rules and laws are for whatever he can't beat in court. That's it. That's all the laws that exist. What I can't beat in court are the only laws that exist. So he has been taking assets out of his company and moving them to Florida. I assure you, he has been doing that. 100, haven't seen the evidence yet, but I would bet my life that we're going to see new fraud charges come out of this in the future. I got my crystal ball out, doing my prediction. That's what we're going to see. But that is the Trump trash. Then we have Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene is showing porn pics again. I can't even show you the pictures here. The platforms will pull my videos down. Let that sink in your head. I can't show you the pictures that she showed the entire world in a congressional hearing. She was already warned once not to engage in showing porn. But James Comer flipped the script, man. Raskin asked him, are we doing this? Are we really doing this? We had this discussion before. You are not supposed to do this. What the hell is going on here? Why are you allowed to? Comer flipped his script. Comer turned around and said, well, these have been entered into evidence, and this has to do with the Mann Act. This was not a child in these images. That's crap. That's a crap. That is crap. They were pictures of Hunter Biden and a woman that she held up and showed. Let that sink in. A private citizen, not just Hunter Biden private, another private, the woman having sex with Hunter Biden. She took images that were not hers off of a hard drive that was not hers, that are not part of any evidentiary part of a hearing, and just held those naked images up in our Congress. And you wonder why their voters shit and pissed in our Capitol building. These people suck. They're horrible human beings. They're fucking filth. They do not deserve to be in our government. Period. Full stop. You know why I call Marjorie Taylor Greene the elevator flatulator? You know why I call her the elevator flatulator? Barty Marge, the elevator flatulator. That's my moniker for her. I use that all the damn. You know why? This woman on Twitter put a tweet out, her personal account. You got to go to her personal account, not her congressional account. She has dueling accounts because there are things she can't say on her not much. She violates the ethical norms all the time on her congressional account, but her personal account is out there. In the height of COVID, folks, in the height of freaking COVID, when we're doing everything, moving heaven and earth to keep people alive, and 1 million Americans have died because of COVID, she tells the American people masks don't work. Why? What's her reasoning? She writes in a tweet by her own hand that because when she's wearing her thickest cotton granny panties, she said that. I may have put a little flourish on it, but she said that. When you're wearing your thick panties, your thickest granny panties, and you bust ass, when she blows a hurricane out of her Hershey Highway, you can smell it, even if you're wearing a mask. She said that. She said that. And at the height of COVID, 1 million people dead. Masks don't work. You can smell my ass. I hate this woman. I hate Marjorie Taylor Greene. I hate Marjorie Taylor Greene. I swear to God. I wish she would come up and try to kick me on a sidewalk. I would. That she-man would end up flat on her ass. She would. She is scum. She is filth. She should not be in our government. And the people of Georgia that elected her, you should be fucking ashamed. You should hold your head in fucking shame. And believe you me, when I point a finger at you, I point 3 back at me, buddy. I do. Because every time Turd frickin' Cruz opens his mouth, you better believe I'm ashamed. I'm working my ass off to make sure that jackass never serves another term in Congress. So far, it's just the website. I'm still waiting to have a discussion on exactly what we're going to do with the website. I have a great question about the Enough is Enough website. I'm working on it. Not exactly sure which way to go. I want it up and running by the time the primaries are over, so we can work to get Democrats elected. That's what I want to do with it. But before we get to the main story, I know you're not supposed to bury the lead. I know that. But while I'm pissed off, I want to talk about this. Last show, for the new folks that are here, we're gaining audience. We got new folks that are coming in. Last week, we talked about Lloyd Austin. Lloyd Austin we didn't know what the surgery was at the time. Now we know. He had a prostate surgery over the holidays. He had complications, so he goes to the hospital. Goes back to the hospital. He's working from the hospital, folks. He is working from the hospital, and I'll get into more of that in just a minute with the main story. But he doesn't call the White House and say, "Hey, man, I'm in the hospital. I'm in the hospital." They put him in the ICU, and when you find out what the complications are over, you find out he's not incapacitated. He's in the ICU because he's the defense secretary. If it had been me or you, we would not have been in the ICU. We just wouldn't have. Folks, we're not all equal. We aren't. Some of us have really important freaking jobs. And because he has a really important, thanks for the support, Lucky Star. I appreciate you, man. I really do. But because some of us have really freaking critical jobs, we get different treatment. We do. So the minute he hit the hospital, they moved him into the ICU. He had prostate surgery, folks. There is nothing life-threatening from a complication from a prostate surgery. There just isn't, folks. They can tap right into your bladder and let you pee straight into a bag. He had an infection. That's what we're going to find out. He had an infection. So they were treating his infection. No excuse for the stupidity of not picking up the phone and saying, "Hey, boss, I had to go check back into the hospital. You know, that prostate thing I had, I got a fever, man. He should have done that. He should have. But I mean, that's the end of it. He's working. They brought Kate Collins, the secretary, the assistant secretary of defense, the deputy secretary of defense. It was looped in on everything. She's taken off. Deputies usually get focused on certain projects because the way it works in government is problems roll uphill. They roll uphill. If a problem is bad enough that it gets to the president's desk, that's a problem, man. That is a problem. Things get handled in the echelons all the way up. Kate Collins is right below. She's the deputy. She focuses on specific problems as an agent of the Secretary of Defense. But if the Secretary of Defense is going to be incapacitated, they loop her in to all the political discussions and whatnot that are going on. Not the stuff that's DOD related. She's already looped in on that, folks. She is already looped in on that. It's the political stuff that they bring her. Okay, look, we've had conversations with this senator. We've had conversations with that senator. That's the stuff. Okay, so she's looped in, right? He's working from the hospital. And I can tell you he's working from the hospital because our main story are the attacks in Yemen. They coordinated that from his hospital room, folks, and it was highly effective. Highly effective. I mean, nailed it. He gave his statement from the hospital. He is not incapacitated. But because Republicans, this is Robert Storch. Who's Robert Storch? You say, I've never heard his name before. You never should have heard his name. This is a guy you should have never known who the hell he is. He is the Inspector General at the DOD, Department of Defense. We're having an investigation, folks. We're having an investigation. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. They're going to hold an investigation about why the Secretary of Defense didn't call the White House and say, "Guys, I'm in the hospital. I got a little fever from this, the prostate thing I had. I'll be working out of the hospital." I'm not shitting you. They're probably going to spend $50 million over a conversation that should be, "Hey, why didn't you call the White House?" Not that big a deal. Oh, okay. Well, next time call. Bigger deal or not, just call. Keep everybody looped in. Thanks, man. No. The Inspector General has opening an investigation. He has notified everybody the investigation is going to be open. But it gets better. The Republicans that control the House Armed Services Committee are going to have an investigation. Like nothing else is going on. like nothing else is going the fuck on. I'm in a bad mood today, folks. I really am. You're going to hear some choice language. I'm sorry. We are at the cussing pond. You can need your mobile cussing pond cup. But it gets better. Gets better, folks. It gets better. Gets better. Absolutely, it could. Absolutely. And that's going to be a theme for today, folks. That's going to be a theme for today. Let's move to our main story. I've got a couple of others, but let's move to our main story. And to do that, we've got to go to the map. Well, first, little background first. Let's bring up a little review. We talked about this before. Our regular audience has seen this before, but we've got new people in the audience. So, hey, I want you to be caught up with what we've already talked about. This is the Silk Road, the historic Silk Road. You learned about that in history class. This is it. The red part was the land route that no longer exists. Too many factions, too many, impossible to ship that route anymore. Plus, we've advanced, our maritime technologies advanced to the point that it's just not feasible. But this blue part right here, very much still exists. Over half the world's population relies on that trade route. That's kind of important. Keep that in mind. Pete Campbell, as always, here with the support, man. I appreciate you. Always enjoy the passionate truth telling. Thanks, Texas Paul. A little something for the cussing jar. Thank you. I appreciate it. Folks, this blue part of that route still very much exists, and more than half of the world's population relies on commerce from that shipping route. Keep that in mind. It's important. Boom, gone. Thank you, Michael. I know everybody gets pissed, but I have to tell you, there's just a couple things going on here that just have burr in my saddle, put it that way. Okay, what is going on today? Yesterday, we lit Yemen the hell up. I told you. For the regular audience, I told you. UK wants to do this really freaking bad. And the Houthis screwed up. See, again, background information. Let's go to I've got information here for you prior to, so that you can understand exactly what's going on, because there's a couple different things going on that lead us to Yemen and things going on into the future. Okay. So to begin with, we'll cover what happened yesterday. Go to the map. This is Yemen. For those geographically challenged, hey, some people are. Just geography's not your thing. I get that. This is where Yemen is at. See Africa. This is Europe. This is the Middle East. This is Middle East. And Yemen is down here off the Gulf of Aden, this little bit of water here, off the Arabian Sea. This is the Arabian Sea that separates India and the Middle East. Leads into the Gulf of Aden, which is a choke point for the Silk Road, through these straits and into the Red Sea. If you haven't been paying attention to international affairs, you may not know, but the Houthis have been attacking shipping in the Red Sea. We moved ships, France, Australia, Bahrain has ships there. Just it's a coalition we put together a coalition of ships in the Red Sea. We said, look, our ships aren't going to be on escort duty. We're going to station our ships along this coastline. And if Yemen tries to attack any shipping, we'll just take out the drones or the boats or the cruise missiles or the anti-ship missiles or whatever they fire. Okay? Let's tighten in. Okay? We've got the Gulf of Aden and Red Sea. This is the capital of Yemen, Sana'a. Sana'a. This is Al Hudaydah. This is where they launched their little attack boats from, Al Hudaydah. Last night, we lit this place the fuck up. Why? What happened? Well, this is what happened. On the 9th, and this is important, folks. I need you to pay attention to this. This is important. On the 9th of January, just a few days ago, U.S. forces report shooting down barrage of Houthi missiles and drones in the Red Sea. See, the Houthis are living in their little terrorist bubble. They think because there are tic-twats out there that are spreading their disinformation, they think that they're winning. They really do. Everything I said that was going to happen in Gaza happened. Israel tore ass through Gaza, tore the hell up out of Hamas. Hamas is now like ISIS. They are dead men walking. Their infrastructure is destroyed. They are chasing their leaders. Their leaders. Damn, out of coffee. Their leaders first hauled ass to Turkey and Algiers, and now they're hiding in Iran. They have had to book ass to Iran. Folks, really, I mean, it's they feel safe nowhere, and they should not, because if we find them in Iran, I guarantee you we'll kill them there too. There is no border anymore for Hamas. There just isn't, and that's what's going to happen. Well, now put a pin in all that. We're going to back the truck up a little bit. Why? Why did October 7th happen? Why did Hamas, after a multi-year ceasefire, suddenly attack Israel? Why? Why are the Houthis being involved in this? Because this is just stupidity in the nth degree. Let's go back to the map for a second. It's Russia. It's because Russia has failed miserably. We're going to go north here. We're at Yemen. We're going to go directly north to Ukraine. The war in Ukraine. Russia, its government is literally crumbling. It's falling apart. It is ceasing to exist before our eyes. They wildly miscalculated what would happen in Ukraine. They thought it was just going to be a couple of days. This actor guy that's running the country would panic. He would flee the country, and the whole world went, what? Because no. Volodymyr Zelensky told the entire world, I don't need a ride. I need munitions. We're fighting. The Russians advanced all the way to Kyiv. They drove them all the way back. They're in this little border region right here now. They've got the Crimea and this little border region right here. This war has decimated Russia's economy. They're literally crumbling. They're going into hyperinflation. They can't sell goods on the open market. They are a failing state as we speak. So Russia, Putin, in a panic, has been trying to foment war in other regions that they have influence. They cannot do it in Syria. They can't. They cannot do it in Syria. They don't have the forces. Syria is a house of cards right now. Al-Assad is barely holding on. The pro-Russian government in Aleppo is barely. We have bases right here. If you see where my cursor is, we have active bases inside the country of Syria. This part of Syria right here, we do. We have active both air bases and bases for ground forces in Syria. This is a house of cards, folks. They don't have any power to use Syria. So what did they do? They called on their buddies, Iran, who have influence over Hamas, and said, get Hamas to attack. Get Hamas to attack. Iran said, glad to, buddy. Glad to. Because if Iran over here loses their sugar daddy, Russia, they're screwed in the region. This is the politics of the region, folks. Okay? We were at Syria. Let's move south. This is Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia wants to be the big dog in the Middle East. They are in a pissing contest with Iran, which is across the Persian Gulf from them. They have been for decades now. Iran loses its Russian sugar daddy. It's screwed. It is screwed. The majority of the Middle East is Sunni. They don't like Iran. Egypt doesn't like Iran. You know, the Sudanese sent forces on behalf of the Saudis to fight in Yemen against the Houthis. The Houthis are the only group that really, and Hamas, because Iran will fund terrorism. So Iran's like, all in, bud. I can't stand to lose my sugar daddy. So we have October 7th. They believe this tick-twat nonsense. They think that they've gotten somewhere. But I told you what was going to happen. Israel's going to tear ass into Gaza. They're going to destroy. They're going to absolutely destroy Hamas's infrastructure, and they're going to hunt them down. And that's exactly what's happening. Then I told you what was next. They wanted a region-wide conflict. Egypt said, no, we don't like those Hamas jackasses either. Saudi Arabia said, no, we're not doing it. Syria's like, can't help you, bud. Hezbollah, they're a terrorist organization. They're like, oh, yeah, we're not invading Israel. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. You know who said they would jump in? Way the hell over here in Afghanistan. The Taliban said, oh, if you'll let us through all of these countries, we'll hop on our Toyota pickup trucks and we'll go fight in Gaza. Everybody said, no. Turkey said, no. To appease their populations, they all said, oh, America and Israel, y'all better not do anything drastic. And the terrorist tick-twats think they're winning. When the reality is on the ground, Hamas just got the shit kicked out of it. They are on the run. Al-Ariri just got killed in Lebanon. You know, so they didn't get their little war that they wanted, that Putin wanted, Iran wanted. They didn't get it. It didn't escalate. None of the other governments would do anything. So Iran said, Houthis, you have to. We'll give you cruise missiles. We'll give you cruise missiles, our cruise missiles, so that you can fire them into Syria or into Israel. Start that war, man. Start that war. We need Israel in a war because our sugar daddy's dying. And if we don't get the West totally involved, I mean, the Republicans in America are going to have nothing to hang their hat on. And believe me, the Republicans are 100% behind Iran and Putin on this. They are. And I'll show you here in just a minute. So the Houthis started attacking shipping. Huge miscalculation. Because as I showed you with the Silk Road there, half the world's population relies on that shipping. No one was going to put up with this. So what happened? All the support for the Palestinians in Gaza evaporated like a fart in the wind because every nation on earth understands business is business and we need business. So on the 9th, the Houthis thought they were going to make a big splash in the press. They fired suicide drones. They fired anti-ship missiles. They fired dumb rockets. They launched attack boats. They fired cruise missiles, Iranian cruise missiles. We have boats stationed along here. Let me zoom in so I can get rid of this map. We have boats all along here, all along this coast, in a grid, so that when they attack, we can shoot their rockets down. And we did. We did. Every day they've been trying to attack, and they've been failing miserably. We've been absolutely destroying them. So on the 9th, they thought they would have a big splash and they would send a barrage out, and they screwed up. They targeted our ships, not shipping, our ships. That's an important fact for what the Republican response has been to this. The Republicans and the Trader Tlaib and her faction with Ro Khanna, Cori Bush, just Jayapal, all of them have been on this drumbeat since. I told you the UK wanted this. They attacked our ships. What did you think was going to happen? As soon as they targeted our ships, the coalition ships, our ships personally, the U.S. ships and the coalition ships, the UK launched tornadoes out of, this is Cyprus. This is Cyprus. You folks can see this okay? Off the coast of Lebanon, this is Cyprus. Cyprus is like the Switzerland of the Middle East. They're on the eastern edge of the Middle East, out in the Mediterranean. They are like, screw this, man. We're banking now. That's what we do. I don't give a shit about Hamas. I don't care about any of that. There is an RAF air base down here at this little peninsula at the bottom of Cyprus called RAF Akritini. That's where the UK has its tornado fighter aircraft. They launched a squadron of tornadoes, flew down to Yemen. We hurled cruise missiles. We took out their radar. We took out their drone launch sites. We destroyed part of a couple the airport in Sana'a, a couple airports. We took out camps all along the eastern edge of Yemen. Just decimated their ability. Hadida, their navy in Hadida, gone. Iranian cruise missiles suck. Ours don't. We hit everything we aimed for. I told you, folks, man. I mean, did I tell you? They wildly overplayed their hand. They really believe. I have a conversation here online. I think I brought it up. I was reading it earlier. I hope I brought it up. Yeah, I do. Y'all know Malcolm Nance. Well, Malcolm Nance was making this point. I'm going to back it up here. I'll read it to you. I know it's difficult to read this stuff on smaller screens. But Malcolm Nance, this is Salam Abuzaid. He's one of the TikToks. He's one of these. Look at this. He's got 24 followers, right? He's one of the blizzard of accounts that just suddenly appeared after October 7th that were part of the Jakarta troll farms that were spreading misinformation that the TikToks believe. All the misinformation about genocide, all that other shit, comes from these accounts. And these accounts like Salam Abuzaid here, which is probably not even a person, hits the like button for, college students. And they're like, oh, people like me. They must think I'm right repeating this. And so they repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. That's how these troll farms work. So anyways, Malcolm Nance makes the point. I see the pain and suffering. I want it to stop. I want Gazans to live in peace alongside of Israel. Call on Hamas to stop fighting. Release the hostages unconditionally. Hamas, surrender their arms and turn over the terrorist leadership. The war will stop instantly. If no, then you support the genocidal objectives of Hamas terrorists and do not care at all for the lives of the civilian population. Truth. 100% truth. Hamas, they've offered ceasefires. Everybody's like, demand a ceasefire now. Well, they've offered a ceasefire. All Hamas has to do is give up hostages. But that doesn't play well with the TikToks. When they release the hostages, all of a sudden they have to acknowledge that they have hostages and all the shit Hamas did is real. So Hamas keeps saying no. Hundreds, we're getting to the point now, thousands of aid trucks have flown in, have driven into Gaza, no hostages coming out. Not one. Not one. So Malcolm Nance here says, hey, get Hamas to surrender. Let's end all this. The response to that from the troll accounts are unanimous. And he posted one of them here. Ha, 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 ha. In your dream, Malcolm, the resistance will not do that. This is like asking a football team to leave the game at the end of the third quarter while ahead by double digits. It's not going to happen. At the end, Israel, USA, and their allies will submit to the resistance conditions. That's on XChan, folks. That is on XChan. That's what these pro-Palestine trolls are saying, that they're going to bring us to our knees, that we're going to bow to them. Yeah. We just decimated you in minutes. In minutes. You've been trying for a month to target ships. You haven't gotten a missile through yet. This is like Mike Tyson fighting a little developmentally challenged 6-year-old. But they targeted our ships, folks. And what was the response from terrorist Tlaib, which is my moniker for her from now on? Clean up your own backyard, folks. She is not a Democrat. I will do everything I can to drive her out of our government. Terrorist Tlaib says POTUS is violating Article 1 of the Constitution by carrying out airstrikes in Yemen without congressional approval. The American people are tired of endless war. To which she immediately got community noted, this is incorrect. While only Congress may formally declare war, under 50 U.S. Section 1543, the president may initiate limited military action without prior congressional approval, so long as he delivers a report to Congress within 48 hours of commencing the action, which he has already done. That's terrorist Tlaib for you. They are firing cruise missiles, anti-ship missiles, and suicide drones at our military ships. But we're the bad guys. We weren't firing on them. All we were doing were destroying the missiles they were sending at the most critical shipping lane in the world. And these terrorists Tlaib, are attacking our president. But she's got company. She's got company, old terrorist Taliban out there. You got Cori Bush, you got Ro Khanna, all of the frickin' terrorist caucus in our own party. They got to go. We got to clean up our own backyard. This coming election, we have to win so overwhelmingly that we can literally kick these sons of bitches out of Congress. That's what I'm doing this year. What are you doing? But no, she had company. She had company. And I'm trying to speed things along. I'm doing Hal today, folks. I will be on the Hal show on the second hour. Yeah. Farty Marge, the elevator flatulator. The president must come to Congress for permission before going to war. Biden cannot solely decide to bomb Yemen. Yes, he can. They attacked us. The president absolutely can respond. And he did. Well, he decimated the Houthis' ability to attack shipping in the Red Sea. Now, the Iranians are going to ship more missiles to him. They are immediately. And the Houthis don't care. They have been starving their people to death. Please, if you do anything, I ask you to do things. If you do anything, please go and Google starving children in Yemen. Folks, they have been in a famine that's just it will make you cry. I looked at I decided not to share it. Picture of a 6-year-old child that looked like she was maybe two. Just a bag of bones. And that's what the Houthis do, man. And the UN sends aid, and the Houthis eat it. Because that little kid doesn't have an AK-47 to fight for her share. Martha Salinas, I missed your comment. I'm trying to find it, but yeah, great comment. Also in Africa. Yeah, it's also happening in Africa. We have to reevaluate how we aid. U.S. aid and the UN and all of it. We have to reevaluate how we spend our money. We do. Because we're feeding terrorists. We're feeding terrorists. And we have to stop that. So I am running short. I don't want to run too long. So let me keep moving on this. Other events have happened, not just Yemen. We will keep watching in Yemen. The president has issued a statement, said this is not an escalation. You tried to attack, you attacked us. We eliminated your ability to attack us. As far as we're concerned, we're good. Don't do anything else. If you do, it gets worse. That's the statement that the president of the United States has issued about our attacks in Yemen last night. You attacked us. You attacked free shipping that is critical to more than half the world. We destroyed your ability. We used very expensive, precise munitions so that we did not target civilian populations. And we eliminated your ability to attack shipping and us. As far as we're concerned, we're good. But if you attack again, it will be worse. I think that's fair, don't you? I think that's fair. Thank you. Awesome show today, Texas Paul. See you at House Sparks in a bit. I will be there in the second hour, folks. I'll be in House Sparks in the second hour. Folks, there's more to this. There's more that's going on. It's not just down in the Middle East. It's happening in Poland also. There's a conflict going on. You've got. I told the Donald Tusk. This is Donald Tusk. Just a reminder. He was just elected prime minister in Poland. He is left of center. They had a media organization that was like Fox News and Newsmax all rolled into one that were running with Russian propaganda, just like Fox News does for the Republicans here in the United States. Folks, right-wingers are the same all over the world. Duda is a right-winger. He's the president. This is the prime minister. Donald Tusk said, we are not going to fund with our money propaganda. We're not going to do Russian propaganda in Poland. Not happening. He shut it down. That drove the right-wingers insane because they had been using that propaganda to do this. They have been blockading the Ukrainian-Poland border. They infiltrated truckers' unions. They infiltrated farmers' unions and spread this BS notion that what was really happening is with all the trucks that were going to Ukraine, what they were trying to do is they were trying to displace the unionized truckers in Poland with Ukrainian truckers, and therefore you can't let that happen, and you have to stop the trucks going into Ukraine. Really, that was not what that was about, folks. That was not what that was about. It was just like Fox News here. It was bullshit. But just like truckers here in the United States, they drive in their trucks continuously and listen to that bullshit. That's why your average trucker here in the United States of America is a right-wing nutter. They're right-wing nutters. Same thing in Poland. What this was really about, was this. It was the aid being shipped into Ukraine. And this, I told you, Poland wants in this war. Just like I told you, the UK wanted to strike Yemen last week. I'm telling you right now, Poland's military, they want in this war. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a group in Poland that are just like our Republicans here, that are traitors to the country, that have fealty to Putin, that are taking his money. They are. This is what they're trying to stop. You see that Leopard tank right there? That's the first tank they jerked off the battlefield, and Ukraine hauled ass back to Poland with it, fixed it, put it back in the battlefield. Poland is keeping Ukraine fighting. That is what Russia is trying to interrupt with these blockades. That's what that's about. So it's not just the terrorists in the Middle East, folks. Big picture this shit. It's happening in Poland. It's happening in France. They're fomenting the Arabs in France. France has a huge Arab population. They are very welcoming and warm to immigrants, even though Francophiles do sometimes tend to be biased. They've been one of the most opening and welcoming countries in all of Europe. But the Russians and their disinformation is just like the tic-twats here. They're feeding them disinformation and Israel Jew hate. Big picture it, folks. Big picture. You're welcome, Mr. Mooney. You're welcome. That's what I do. And the Russian and the Republicans, I call them Russians, is interchangeable. The Republicans here are more than willing to absolutely jump in on this. Well, folks, I've got news for you. I was going to take a vacation with the missus. Not going to happen. We have a Polar Express bearing down on us, and I live in a Republican state. I live in Texas. I can't trust my power grid. I can't. It's going to get down into the teens in the cities around here, which means it'll be, 5 to 8 degrees out here in the sticks where I live. Well, I got to stay home. Make sure my house doesn't freeze up because my power grid is going to go down. At some point between generation and where it reaches my house, there's going to be a failure in that chain. And what the damn crime is, what the damn crime is this. This is a photo op posted by my crap governor, my diaper wearing, worthless, shitty governor. This is not, this is the National Guard, folks. Anyone in the audience that's served in the military will tell you this is not a military action. This is a photo op. This is a photo. They have spent $8 billion in this state on Greg Abbott's re-election campaign by taking people, Texans, out of their lives, activating the National Guard. The National Guard are not professional soldiers, people. They're not. They are not. Some have transferred from the active military, but they are not active duty soldiers. They are lawyers. They are teachers. They are firemen. They are nurses. They are people that keep our economy and our lives running. And because the Republicans have to have a boogeyman and someone to hate, they activated the National Guard, and they have spent $8 billion. Folks, they could have weatherproofed our grid 4 times over for that money. But the next 4 days, we're going to have Arctic temperatures down here in Texas, and all hell is going to break loose. So I can't leave. You know, I'm not Turd Cruz. I'm not running to Cancun. Just pissing money away. Let me tell you something, folks. How unoverwhelmed we are at the southern border. If you look at engagements per Border Patrol agent, because that's what you're measuring, how well is the government handling this? If you look at engagements per Border Patrol agent, we have added so much infrastructure to the southern border that even though there are more engagements now, the engagements per agent are half what they were 20 years ago. "20 years ago, we had 6,000 agents down there. We've got 30,000 now. We're not overwhelmed. We're not in the middle of a drug crisis. We're not in the middle of a drug crisis either. People are like, fentanyl. Everybody's dying from fentanyl. Oh my God, the kiddies, they're fentanyl Skittles. It's not true. We've always used drugs. And we've always smuggled it. 86% of the people arrested smuggling drugs into this country are American. The cartels are not smuggling drugs into our country in any significant fashion. They are a fucking factory in South Mexico and Central America, in northern, southern America, South America. They're factories. That's what we are. We're the ones that keep going down there and picking that shit up. I got an idea. Stop doing drugs. But no, my piece of crap governor spent $8 billion when people are going to, I promise you in the next 4 days, you're going to see on the news, people in Texas have frozen to fucking death in 2024. Enough is enough. Enough. Listen to this son of a bitch. I'm not going to be able to monetize this for ad, but I meant every word I said. I did. I have no regrets.
Every tool that can be used, from building a border wall to building these border barriers, to passing this law that I signed.
Border barriers are razor wire.
That led to another lawsuit by the Biden administration where I signed a law making it illegal for somebody to enter Texas from another country. And they're subject to arrest.
No, he wrote a law that said he's now the federal fucking government and in charge of immigration. That's the law he signed. No, you are not. You are a governor in a border state. That's it. Immigration is the purview of the federal government, not you. And just because you want to pretend there's a crisis so your fat fucking pasty face racist ass voters will show the hell up because they're terrified little turds when we desperately need immigration because we're an aging population. Just because you have that pretend bullshit does not mean you're now the federal government. Just because you wrote a law, I'm now the federal government, I now control immigration. No, you do not.
Arrest and subject to deportation. And so we are deploying every tool and strategy that we possibly can. The only thing that we're not doing is we're not shooting people who come across the border because, of course, the Biden administration.
Excuse me? Let's hear that again.
The thing that we're not doing is we're not shooting people who come across the border because, of course, the Biden administration would charge us with murder.
Yeah, because it would be fucking murder. We're not shooting people coming across the border because they charge us with murder. Can you believe that? If we shot them brownies, they'd charge us white people with murder. Can you believe that? Yeah, I can fucking believe that because it's murder. You piece of shit. It's murder. Ron DeSantis, same shit. Somebody smuggling drugs in their backpack. We're going to shoot them. Really, dude? You got that x-ray vision? Or wait a minute. So you're going to open the backpack, which doesn't happen. 86% of freaking drugs are smuggled by Americans through ports of entry. But we'll pretend your little fiction is true. So you're going to say you're going to stop somebody. They're going to have a pack of pills in their pack. You're going to find it and summarily execute them in the fucking desert? People, the 2025 project. The 2025 project. Go read it. 2025.org. 2025project.org. Their words. This is what they want to do. And if you don't believe me, this next story is real. I'm trying to wrap this up. I know we're a little bit over. Stay with me. Stay with me. Brittany Watts. Quick recap on the Brittany Watts story. This is a woman who was pregnant, who wanted to be pregnant. At 18 weeks, her water broke. Went to the hospital in Ohio. Republican-run Ohio. Hospital sent her home. They didn't induce. They didn't do a DNC. They didn't do what was medically necessary in this situation. They sent her home. She stayed at home till she started having complications with this dry birth. Came back to the hospital. I have quit leaking water, but I'm having a lot of pain. Is the baby okay? No, ma'am. Your baby's dying. That's what you're feeling, is a dying baby. Can't help you. Go home. That's what happens in Republican America. Go home. She had a dry birth in a toilet. Ask any of the women in the chat what a dry birth means, how painful that is, how damaging that is, instead of getting the health care that she needed with a baby that was not going to live no matter what. She went home and she had a dry birth in a toilet, like where most miscarriages happen, folks. Sorry to tell you this, paint this picture for you, but more often than not, when a miscarriage happens, women go to the toilet. That's where it happens. She flushed the toilet. Boom. Baby got stuck. Dead as a freaking doornail. She didn't kill it. Baby got stuck. They tried to charge her with desecration of a corpse because they want to continue this fucking fantasy that put her in this situation in the first place. That this is somehow a little swallowed up little baby. Instead of meat, dead fucking meat. But we're going to treat it like a grown-ass adult where we have mutilation of corpse laws. We do. You can't just mutilate corpses. You can't just desecrate corpses. You can't just steal their organs. You can't, there's a lot of shit you can't do when somebody dies on the side of the road. You can't just light that shit on fire and say, I took care of it. They prosecuted her under those laws. They went to a grand jury to get, and thank God, human beings were on that grand jury. And they sent a no bill, which means no, you cannot prosecute. You know how easy it is to have a grand jury approved, because all they're doing is approving a further investigation. That's all they're doing. Do you know how fucking easy it is to get an indictment? And this grand jury said, no damn way. No. This woman went to the hospital twice. She did everything she could. And you want to prosecute her? Well, good news, folks. There's good news at the end of this tunnel. Miss Brittany Watts will be on the campaign trail this year. She will be on the campaign trail this year working. I want to end you with this. They said they wouldn't do this. They said they wouldn't. They said Roe was settled law. They wouldn't do this. That they just wanted states' rights to just the locals to be able to decide. They lied. They did this. They overturned Roe the first chance they got. This radical ass freak Supreme Court with Samuel Alito and the rest of the freaks. Amy Coathanger Barrett, who's literally from a cult. Go read about Coney Barrett's religion. It's just, I mean, the Pope would look at Amy Coney Barrett and go, really, chick? Really? Coathanger Barrett, man, these people, radical, far frickin' fringes. And you know why you know they're radicals and far frickin' fringes? Because every time this is on the ballot, the people show up and say, no, that's not us. That's not us. When Brittany Watts went to the hospital, she should have had an abortion. That was health care. She should have been cared for so that she did not have permanent injuries. She should have not had to go through that pain. She should not have had to go through any of that. She should have gotten the medical treatment she needs, along with the mental care that she needed to deal with such a crisis, not be fucking abused and forced to have a miscarriage, a dry birth on a toilet. So, yeah, I'm sorry, folks. I wanted to do a big roundtable today, but we just don't have time. We just don't have time. I ran over and I've got to get Hal started. I want to get over to Hal, watch the show, see what they're talking about, prep. I'm going to be on Hal's in the second hour. Join us. I hope you can be there. Sorry for the salty language. Sorry, it got a little bit abrupt. I'm not going to be able to monetize this one, so I appreciate all your support. It's very helpful. Thank you very much. I won't get any ad revenue off of this one because of the language, but damn it, this is how I feel. This is where I'm at. I'm going into the 2024 election pissed as hell, and I hope you are too. I love you folks. So Texas Paul out. Check out some beautiful Texas cities at night. See if you can guess which ones they are. The one with the river's an easy guess. The first one with the river's an easy guess. The second one you may not know. Second one's Austin, by the way. Beautiful at night.